We're going to do our own show next week. It's just going to be me and Bobby.
You know, human beings learn best and most from other human beings.
Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
That's right. That's Sean's favorite open on the station now. This is where we take a look in the film room, take a look at the opponent for the week. You're still, it hasn't grown on you in a week?
No, how will Brian Schottenheimer be petty this week? Did you hear what he did to me last week?
I did not.
He came on here and praised Bobby for a dinner reservation that was made for him in New York when they were there for the Jet game.
Where'd they go?
It's a good question.
You remember what we did after that show?
Yeah, we went and tried to get him a reservation.
Yeah. And who was and who I was on the phone with?
I remember that, yeah.
That guy gave me the dinner spot that Brian Schottenheimer referenced here on the show, Arthur and Sons, and Bobby Belt got the credit for it.
Well, here's
when I put in the work.
He said your big salad.
He said he tried to walk up and he was like, "Hey, Sean Sharif," and that they said who, and then he said, "I mean Bobby Belt," and they said, "Oh, of course, your table's in the back. Come here, sir." And
that's what he said.
That's literally what he said.
Wow. See? I think we're gonna.
I respect the troll game. I really do.
I
blame Tad.
Follow-ups.
I gave Tad credit for style. PR Czar out there for his shoes. I thought that we had a shared pain because of our nightmare home building experiences that we bonded over in Oxnard. So I blame Tad as well. Brian Schottenheimer, the birthday boy, at 8:20 today.
Oh, what a wonderful day. So now we've got great quotes coming out of Shotty. That whole, I think eventually after every week, I'm just going to have a whole stack of Shotty quotes for this. But this is where we take a look at the film room of the opponent for the week. This is the Washington Commanders that are coming to AT&T Stadium. Before I get into specifics of the Commanders, I was looking at various advanced stats yesterday, and I was combing over some stuff with the Commanders, and I saw a note about the Cowboys that was jarring to me. So, the league average yards allowed per play in man coverage this year is
just in man.
The league average yards allowed per play is 5.8. Most games you're allowing between, if you're really good, you're under 5. If you're really bad, you're going to be probably over 6. It's going to be somewhere in between when it's just a normal defense. So 5.8 is league average in man coverage. The lowest in the NFL is the Packers, who in man coverage are allowing about 3 yards per play. What do you think the Dallas Cowboys are allowing per play in man coverage this year?
So I did this a couple weeks ago where they were allowing defensively about 6.8 yards per play as a whole, which, I mean, that puts them as every point is 0.2. It puts them about a 6-point dog just walking on the field. So I'll say 6.8.
7.6.
9.
Oh, gosh.
The next highest is the Texans are allowing 7.7. It's 1.3 yards per play more.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
We haven't probably talked about it enough. We've talked about the topic, but not the branch of the tree topic over whether Matt Eberflus has been protecting them from themselves.
Yeah, I think...
Could Eberflus walk in a room and say, you all realize what would happen if I put you on islands? You think it's bad now? At least I'm taking the heat for scheme. Trayvon, you want to fall 4 times a game on your slip and slide? Duron, you want your contract? I'm giving a scenario here.
Yeah.
Duron, you want your contract to be called Diggs' contract right now? Overpaid and overrated? Y'all really want that? We haven't talked about that. Khair?
Yeah.
You want to be on another team real quick? I'm trying to help you all out.
Yeah, and I think...
How much truth do you think there is in that?
I think definitely there's a thought that if you're not going to rush the passer effectively and you've got your team in man coverage, that can cause problems. Like that's just going to hang you out to dry a lot of times.
Yeah.
But the other aspect of it is I should apologize to just a little bit to those that when I was talking about the man coverage rates a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I mean, how much more of it do you want him to play? Greg Olson did bring up that good point last week of there's just something about not having a team load up and know what you're going to be in every time though, and how advantageous that can be. So it is fascinating to look. They are not the worst defense in the NFL in yards per play in zone coverage. So, which is what they're playing most of the time.
Who is?
So,
Baltimore?
New Orleans. New Orleans and Miami are both worse than Dallas in zone coverage this year. And not very far off from the Dallas Cowboys in zone coverage, who are allowing 7.3 yards per play, which is still a ton, is the Washington Commanders that are averaging 7.2.
Take the over, baby. Let's go.
There you go. That's it right there. So, all right, let's look at schematically, kind of conceptually, what the Commanders like to do. I'll start on defense here because I think we're just going to spend a little bit of time here because I think most people assume Dallas is going to be able to get theirs this season against most opponents, regardless of what ways they want to do things, especially if CeeDee Lamb's going to be back in the lineup. But this is a team that does not blitz a ton. They'll do it from time to time. Frankie Louvu, who was referenced by JP Finley yesterday and who had the big breakout year last year, he'll come on some of the blitzing stuff. JP was right. Dorrance Armstrong is their best pass rusher. Like, he's developed into something, which is stunning to me because he just always felt like I don't know about y'all. He didn't ever even feel like having Sam Williams upside to me, where we're all frustrated with Sam and feel like Sam doesn't even play that well a lot of times. It at least still felt like, oh, you're wasting potential. With Dorrance Armstrong, it was like, I kind of felt like he milked everything he had. And It's like, no, Dan Quinn has taken him up another level, found an ability for him. They're in Washington, so he's been one of their good pass rushers. He missed practice again yesterday, so it's looking like Dorrance Armstrong's trending to be out, and that's going to be the guy who rushes the passer best for them. But they get a decent amount of pressure. They don't finish a ton of sacks. They don't finish a ton of plays, but they'll generate enough pressure, and a lot of it frequently is front four, and it's a lot of the Dan Quinn twists and stunts, and that's a big way that he's going to get home. In the secondary, they've got Marshawn Lattimore there, obviously, who is, I don't think, been the guy that they were hoping when they traded for him.
No.
He's been picked on pretty consistently since he got there. They've got some issues there with the corners. Lattimore's had some problems. You've got Mike Sainer still. He's been an issue for them. I do think that this is going to be a week where Dallas can kind of pick their poison a little bit if they want to, because Washington just hasn't been super effective this year defensively. And I think that a lot of the things that they like to be in man coverage more than most teams. Their man coverage rate is about 9th in the NFL, which they are more effective in man coverage than they are in zone. But they're still above league average in terms of what they allow when they're in those looks. So they've got a lot of issues where when they're in man coverage, they're just oftentimes not good enough. Like the secondary, when they get beat, it's just flat out they get beat direct from somebody there. In zone, when they're going against really savvy quarterbacks that know the spots, they get picked apart a little bit. Not a lot of coverage busts, just soft coverage. And so it's not a defense that particularly concerns me. I think they'll be able to get theirs, but that one is less concerning to me.
Dak was asked yesterday if he's excited to go against his old friend DQ.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's exciting. I feel like it's the first time in my career I'm like playing a game against a coordinator that's a friend, and not just and just knowing both of them. I mean, even Dan DQ, just having the utmost respect for him, understanding how they're running their program, the success that they've had so early is not a surprise with the way that they do things. But we've had a lot of back and forth, whether it be right in practice, training camps, 2-minute drills, particularly with Joe Witt, that I'm pumped for this one.
So, and look, I think there is something to be said about familiarity. That's something that can help. It's something I kind of want to ask Schottenheimer about next hour. Is I do think it tends to make people overthink a little bit. They'll go, oh, what about this? What like it gives you too much information almost at times, and you try to get in their head too much. And
yeah,
I think at times that can burn somebody. But Dak, I think that over there, seeing what the Commanders have put on tape this year, I think Dan Quinn expects that Dak's going to get his if he wants to, especially if CeeDee Lamb's going to be back. They're going to have a hard time covering them. Okay, so on the offensive side of the ball, Cliff Kingsbury, what is everybody's view of Cliff Kingsbury been? Like, when you think Cliff Kingsbury, what kind of offense pops into your head?
My view of Cliff Kingsbury is on your lower back, because Cliff Kingsbury to Bobby Belt is Peyton Manning to RJ Choppy. My God. Cliff this, Cliff that, questions about Cliff, praise for Cliff, everything about Cliff. It's
the greatest of all time.
Cliff for Bobby, like Peyton Manning for you, and that orange shirt that you're wearing.
Oh, baby.
I think that's your number one man.
With a hole in it.
Well, and it's an evolution, though.
How'd that happen?
I let a buddy of mine borrow this. He needed to borrow it. He was like, I don't have a shirt to wear. It was a Saturday. This was a couple years ago. I let him borrow it. Well,
Did he go to Tennessee?
no. He's actually, I think he's in Arkansas.
It was, so this was Peyton.
It was not, but good reference. So he borrowed it. 2.5 years later, I got it back. He just never returned it, but he returned it with a hole in it.
What did he want to wear it for?
He needed a shirt. We were going out that night. I guess his shirt got wet. I was like, here, take it.
Oh.
Put your shirt on. It's college football. This is your punishment for needing to use my shirt. You got to wear orange, right? You got to wear Tennessee shirt.
Okay.
Well, he showed me. It's got a hole in it. But the good news is I can touch my nipple.
Oh, that is good. Yeah, that's a big perk there. No, I respect Cliff because 4 years ago, I did not like Cliff Kingsbury. So I've got a lot of respect for Cliff because of how he didn't get stuck in his ways. Some of the stubbornness that we're worried about with Matt Eberflus and things like that, Cliff said, I need to change, and went and changed. One of the reasons I respect Dan Quinn so much, Dan Quinn got to Dallas. This is a guy who never played man coverage. He didn't do it. And he got to Dallas and he went, this is what we have to do. And now he's in Washington. He's going, this is something that we have to do. We have to play it at a higher rate. It's those evolutions that I respect. So I think everybody generally thought of Cliff Kingsbury as, not only when he was head coach, neglectful of defense, but I think they also thought of him as like, yeah, he's going to throw the ball 60 times. He's Mike Leach, air raid guy. Like that's the type of offense that he runs. He runs something now that's unlike anything Dallas has gone against this year. The closest offensive design and style is probably Philly, where you've got a mobile quarterback and they like to do some similar things in the run game and different things like that. But these are the biggest takeaways that I think are out there on Washington after watching them. Their biggest thing, they're going to control the game with tempo and space. That's what they like to do. So they'll play a lot of spread. They'll set their offensive lineup really wide. It's basically an old school power football running game, and they've got modern spread concepts tied to it. So it's not flashy. It's really efficient, and they do everything on the ground ties into the pass. Everything they do in the pass ties into the run. The stuff that Schottenheimer's talked about before that he wants to do of marrying the run and the pass really closely together. Kingsbury's done a great job of really nailing that. They snap the ball faster than almost anyone in the league. They are in the second highest rate right now of no-huddle offense in the league is 23%. How often is Washington in no-huddle?
33.
65.
Dang!
They are.
Wow, that's fast.
They are in no-huddle almost the whole game.
Wow.
And because of that and the tempo that they play with, you can't. Dallas, who likes to sub in defensive linemen every other play, they're not going to have the opportunity to do a lot of that as much as they would want to. So they do a lot, not necessarily because they're going to go up there and they're going to rush plays, but a lot of times it's just to stop the defense from substituting. It's to stop them from getting into disguises that they want to do. They spread the field out. They get the defenders to kind of show their hand. Then they try to attack the weakest spot. A lot of rhythm. There's some West Coast air raid blended passing concept. So you're going to see him throw a lot of mesh. I promise. If they get on third down or fourth down, if there's a big third or fourth down in this game that they need to convert with the pass, watch for it. It'll be mesh, which is you've got two receivers tight and they're going to just cross each other. That's Cliff Kingsbury's go-to in big moments. But this is a team that the biggest difference between them and Philadelphia likes to play kind of outside towards the boundary with their passing game. They'll throw to A.J. Brown. They'll throw to Devontae Smith on some vertical stuff outside the numbers, or they'll throw some out-breaking routes. Washington doesn't. Washington is almost exclusively between the numbers. So you're not going to have to worry as much about the far boundary if they follow their tendencies. They could obviously change some things up. But it's an offense that runs the ball to set up the pass, and they create a lot of balance with it. They will use zone. They'll use counter schemes. They run to the weak side of the formation, which is obviously the side of the formation that doesn't have as many of the players on the other side of the ball. But they'll run to the weak side of the formation more than any team in the NFL by a large rate. They will run jumbo packages more than any team in the NFL. They're out there running with 6 offensive linemen about 1 out of every 6 plays on offense. So they're trying to run out there with big physical offensive linemen, create easy cutback lanes that they can then take advantage of to the weak side. And they do it effectively. This is a run game that is going to be just as concerning as the one that the Jets put out there, the one that the Panthers put out there. Dallas is going to have just as much of a problem kind of stopping those sort of things. And so I think biggest thing for Dallas that they got to worry about this week, Jane Daniels is playing well. The running game's playing well. Their offensive line has been fine. The biggest thing...
Is this your first time hearing it?
It's my first time. I feel like I'm at a cocktail hour on a soap opera.
I hate it.
This is great. This
I
music.
love it. Loving you.
It's
like a jazz
I'm
song.
waiting for like General Hospital to be on.
You want an apple martini?
Yeah. That's just fucking
We want it to be mellow. We want it to be mellow. But I love that. There's
John
nobody.
Tesh is going to break out here in a
called
second.
forward scat. I feel like I'm at scat.
There is nobody who gets more distracted and then preoccupied by the side thing than Chop. Like I don't know if he. Well, I don't think he heard a single concept in the last 30 seconds because he's like,
I think that's everyone in this building.
flute?
Yeah.
I think that's everyone in this building. Just listen to G-Bags. Three-letter.
Yeah. Way.
Three-letter.
Lee.
Yeah.
Ot, way, ot, and gay. The three.
Yep. Those are the three.
Otway gay.
Otway gay. You got
gay.
it. This is something where for Dallas, here's the big key: Reddy Stewart and the safeties. Which, if you're counting on the safeties, you might be in trouble. But Reddy Stewart's been good. Basically, what you're gonna have to do is those safeties in the nickel corner are gonna have to be really flexible because Washington doesn't allow you to get off the field very easily and make substitutions very easily. When they get into that tempo, you're going to have to be really versatile as those defenders. The stuff Nate Newton was talking about with Darren Woodson, where he's like, we didn't have defensive packages. We had Darren Woodson. Darren would change the complexion of our defense. We would put him somewhere and we wouldn't have to switch guys out. He would play a certain role. You're going to need Reddy Stewart. You're going to need Wanye Thomas. You're going to need Donovan Wilson. Those guys are going to have to be that. They're going to have to be flexible to play down against the line of scrimmage, back in coverage. They're going to have to do different things to really take advantage or to be able to not get blown up by what Washington likes to do with tempo. And the other thing, if you want to slow Washington down on tempo, they are going to have to, and Matt Eberflus is going to hate it, I'm sure, they're going to have to start doing some different things with the blitz. I think more than man coverage this week, blitzing is going to be important. And not just the blitz that they do, showing blitzes and then bailing out of them, showing certain coverages and bailing. They've got to disguise stuff or else Washington's going to eat them alive.
Bobby's Film Room Preview every Friday at this time in the commercial-free Expressway here on DFW Sports Station. What about the chess match that Nick Harris kind of took us into between Schottenheimer and Quinn?
Yeah, so this was a good article from Nick Harris, which we had done the article a couple weeks ago where Nick had talked to all of the different coaches that Schottenheimer had played under or who had been kind of an influence to him. And so he took a lot of that. I guess he had some of it saved up and kind of dove into those two and what it meant to them. Because Brian Schottenheimer has kind of told people that if it's not for Dan Quinn, he may not be in the position that he's in. That he came back here to Dallas to work primarily with Dan Quinn to kind of develop his people skills again that he felt he had lost. But there's some really good stuff in here. Brian Schottenheimer talks about when the opportunity came to stay involved in the building in a special place like this for a guy like Mike McCarthy that I love and care about, under a guy like Mike and Dan Quinn and people like that, to come down here and be a part of the Cowboys. It was just something, the more I thought about it, the more Mike and I kind of talked about it throughout the spring, it made too much sense. Dan Quinn said he was like a secret weapon for me. I really challenged him in that way. Brian was in defensive meetings. When we installed the defense, what a cool year, kind of a sabbatical to do something different. Brian could have been a quarterback's coach or an OC at a lot of spots, but for one season, he and I got to be together. It was awesome for me. And I think Quinn, I would bet for Shotty, this will be a bigger game to him than New York. Like going back to play the Jets. Going some of these other things that he's done, this is the guy that he felt like kind of got him back on the right track. And it's a guy he respects a ton, his defensive mind. I think this will be the one where Shotty and Dan Quinn both kind of feel like all right, let's see who can get the best of each other, who's going to be able to get the other one. And so I think it's a big week for both of them, and I think both of them are going to try to throw some different things at each other to kind of throw them off.